Today's video is powered by Hawpog. Skip it up and that up. Cliffy B, man. Man, oh man, you are a loudmouth. You say how you feel just like me, which I respect a lot. But, yeah, I don't agree with you on this one. So he had put in his 2 cents about the always online thing and about Adam Orth, about him being let go or him quitting or whatever from Microsoft. So, I mean, there's a whole big blog that he wrote. I'll have it linked below in the description. I'm just going to go over some bullet points that I wrote down and tell you how I feel about him. So the first one is Adam Orth may have not been fired. In the article, he says he may have been, just quit. He may have, just had to put his 2 weeks in. It just so happened it was at the same time, he put up this tweet. He may have not liked the weather. He was being a wise ass, so on and so forth. He said, you never know. You could think you know, but you don't know why someone left the company. But come on, dude. Really? It just so happens he puts up all those smart-ass tweets about the always online feature, and Microsoft the next day does hardcore damage control and apologizes, and then like 2 days later he's not with the company anymore. I mean, okay, yeah, I get you're trying to be politically correct, and maybe there is that very small 1/1000% of a chance that it could have been another reason, but let's put 2 and 2 together here. Yeah, the dude more than likely was let go because he was a dumb ass. I get that everyone has done stupid things before. You talk about that. I've said stupid shit. I've done stupid shit. So have you. But sometimes, you get your hand caught in the cookie jar and you get penalized for it. And he got caught with his virtual hand in the cookie jar by being a wise ass on Twitter for everyone to see. All right. Then this one just, like, my blood boiled, okay? Look, I'm not for piracy at all. I know there's people, piracy actually helps the industry because, if people have to make better quality games for you to actually buy it, and I've gotten the whole spiel, I get it. But he goes into about how SimCity was botched up. He's defending them. You have to read the article. My jaw was dropping as I was reading what Cliff wrote. SimCity and Diablo 3 both have always online DRM. And he said that they sold well. I think he said Diablo 3 was about 12 million units. Not sure. I forgot. I had it in my head before, but now I don't. And he said, but because they wouldn't have sold as well if they didn't have the always online DRM. And he wrote in like a sarcastic way in quotes that the consumer always says, they always treat us like thieves. And then he writes like, then that same person, clicks on BitTorrent right after he says that. So, again, this goes into, the people that really buy the product should be punished. The people, you buy this, you buy SimCity, it's been virtually unplayable for a lot of people that I know. So, Cliff, those people should be penalized. So it's just really, I get, yes, everyone needs to make a living, pay their mortgage, pay their bills, keep their lights on, I get it. But do you think that that'll be tolerated again? Do you think if another game comes out with always online DRM like that people are, why do you, I really think that was the reason that the CEO finally stepped down from EA. Yeah, I get it. I'm sure for a little while longer, people will keep tolerating the always online DRM and just bitch about it and buy the game in droves. But eventually people are going to get fed up. And to punish the legitimate consumer, not the thief or the pirate, and ruin their gameplay experience because of the fact that they want to include always online DRM to cover their asses. That's the way it should be. Dude, I don't agree with you on that with that one at all. There's plenty of developers who don't use always online DRM that can move plenty of units via Steam or off the shelves in physical copies. They don't need to have always online DRM to sell a bunch of games. I don't buy it. I think you're full of shit, and I'm very surprised you're pro, DRM like that, especially when you've been around for so long and see how many atrocities have happened due to DRM. Then he goes on about how when Xbox Live launched many moons ago, what has it been, like 11 years now, 12 years, something like that, how Xbox Live required broadband when they launched Xbox Live, and he goes how that was a big risk, but you have to take big risks to move forward, so on and so forth. And I'm like, dude, First off, the gaming climate, the games that were being produced back then, there was still this thing called a very good single player experience. Okay? So, on top of that, you know, besides the fact that you could buy a game and play it offline, so if people didn't have broadband, they still had a reason to have an Xbox, you couldn't really use dial-up to play online multiplayer. It would have been too shoddy for a lot of people, man. They needed to go broadband. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like you had to do it. Like the Microsoft had no choice. That wasn't them being bold. They really had. It would have been too much of a headache to have dial-up. You're thinking that they're being bold and just trying something new and exciting. No, they had to have broadband. Like, yeah, I think when you bought the modem for the PS2, when you wanted to go online, when they launched that with the PlayStation 2, yeah, they had the option for dial-up, but most of the damn games, it had like broadband required on the box, broadband required. It couldn't, I know PC games used to do online, death matches and online gaming with dial-up, and some people had okay experiences with it. But they needed broadband. And like I said, most of the games on PS2, even though the PlayStation 2 offered the option for dial-up, really, no one used it. It wasn't practical. They had no choice but to do it. It wasn't them, doing something new and exciting and daring that was a big risk. They wanted to do online. They knew it was the future, and they knew that dial-up wouldn't be able to do what they had to. They had no choice. They have a choice with always online DRM. That they didn't have a choice with. It was a requirement to make Xbox Live work properly. You're looking at it in the wrong context. The next thing he goes into is, say you want to, take your next Xbox, the Xbox 720, with you on vacation or whatever. He says that you can't really go by those small exceptions. And hey, if someone wants to do that, they don't need to have a super fast connection. They may just need 3G or something like that. So here's the thing, man. I get it. I understand that the next gen systems, even these systems, even the current generation, online is a key part of them, and it's going to become even more integral with the following generation. Okay, my cell phone's always online. My computer is always online. My gaming consoles are always online. There's friggin' Wi-Fi at the gym. There, you know what I'm saying? So people could use Pandora. I get it. I'm not saying that online should not become more integrated into the gaming experience. But, perfect example, and I think I've brought this up before, BioShock Infinite is only a single-player game. So you're saying to me, and again, I live in, people don't consider it upstate New York, but it is. I live about an hour above Manhattan. We have decent internet. It doesn't go down that often, but it does go down. Even on clear, beautiful days, there's issues. And imagine I was playing BioShock Infinite on the Xbox 720. Now, I may have said it the wrong way, but I knew what it was. The Xbox, according to Naomi Kyle and IGN, after 3 minutes, if you lose connection for 3 minutes, it'll suspend what you're doing. So if I have a snowstorm where I am, and a game I purchased, and a console I purchased, is going to, if I lose connection for 3 minutes, which would definitely happen, I've lost connection for the entire day with very bad weather, which happens enough up here. It's not a rare thing to have blizzards where I'm at. I'm not going to be able to play my single-player games. I'm not going to be able to, my whole system's just going to become a brick until it gets an internet connection again. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You wrote a quote at the bottom that technology doesn't advance by worrying about the edge case. But it's not worrying about, we're not saying make online not a bigger part of the gaming experience. We just don't want online to control something we purchased with our hard-earned money. You get what I'm saying? You're looking at it the wrong way. This last part I'm actually going to quote exactly from him because it's an interesting thing that he says. It's a quick little paragraph here. He goes and says, I find it disgusting that online community would revel in the fact that they may have potentially contributed to a person losing their job. Even then, if they didn't have anything to do with it, at the end of the day, that they have the collective ego to think that they could do that. In a world of Indiegogo and Kickstarter, where we can do great things in numbers, we should know better. I'd rather live in a world where someone can slip up, say something that the world doesn't agree with, and not have the collective internet lynch mob up their ass. Well-behaved people rarely make history. Deal with it. Yeah, Cliff, I get what you're saying. It's the people that speak their minds, it's the people that go against the grain and who think outside of the box are the ones that are remembered and become a part of history. That you're dead on about. But he didn't slip up. He was being an arrogant ass. He knew exactly. He had to think. He was tight. It wasn't like he was in an interview. It wasn't like he was put on the spot. He was in front of his keyboard or on his cell phone typing in. He was premeditating what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like on the spot with a mic put in his face saying that stuff where he's like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. He knew exactly what he was saying. He was doing the keystrokes. It was being pre-thought up in his head before he was typing it out. And on top of it too, yes, things need to evolve. Internet's going to become more and more a part of our lives than it is already. But there's a difference between innovating and giving the consumer a better experience than controlling the consumer because you don't trust them and putting a product they purchased on a leash. Think about that. Oh yeah, and deal with it.